Why has it taken so long for someone to truly ask what candles are, rather than simply what they signal? Must accuracy be the only measure of value, or can we measure meaning by the way a pattern makes us pause? Do we need to memorize every signal, or is there something intuitive that pulses beneath their forms, waiting to be felt instead of learned? When East and West intertwine, not in opposition but in dance, doesn't the candle begin to make even more sense? Can you feel how short-term sentiment, when kissed by long-term projections, forms a romance worth studying? Does the crossing of support and resistance become a waltz when bathed in the flickering glow of candles? If candles have long been mystical, misinterpreted, mythologized, can they now be seen with clarity and affection? Doesn't it feel overdue to finally place them in their proper context, to give them the respect of statistical rigor and the tenderness of psychological insight? Isn't it time to stop treating candles like oracles, and instead see them as honest reflections of what we already feel: fear, hope, retreat, reversal? What if the magic isn't in the method, but in the merging of tools that see both heart and logic, trend and hesitation, price and passion? Is this the edge we've always been reaching for, not a sharper algorithm, but a deeper understanding? And when you look at that chart again, candles flickering at the edge of decision, can you ask not just what does this pattern mean, but what is it asking of me? Wouldn't you want to answer? Can a table of numbers ever whisper desire? When a gain per candle touches the line between loss and longing, do you feel its rhythm in your chest? If EK loses 0.1133 with every candle, but gains 3.2730 when filtered, what kind of truth is that? When F loses nearly everything, but filtered becomes worse, do you hear it screaming in silence? If FDX rises and falls but never settles, is that what it means to be almost enough? When FLR blooms from the inside out, peaking only when filtered, do you believe in the transformation of pain into brilliance? When FNB quietly outshines the rest in filtered light, does your heart ache for the underestimated? If GD gains before it loses, if it trembles then crashes, does that remind you of anyone you've ever loved? When GE tries to stay above water but sinks with the filter on, do you still cheer for effort over outcome? If GM bleeds in candles but sings in filtered space, would you still hold its hand in the dark? Can GWF's descent into filtered despair be mistaken for depth rather than failure? When hell triples its breath with each layer of filter, can you feel its rising heartbeat against your palm? Does HM's filtered flame make up for the shadowed trail it walked to get there? Can HNZ find redemption in one last filtered breath of light? When HON whispers and HRS roars, do you long for the quiet one? If HUM's filtered life shines eightfold, can you forgive its earlier doubt?